So back with the Fox News alert. Listen up. The FBI is arresting the person suspected of planting pipe bombs outside the RNC and DNC's headquarters in Washington back in 2021. That the night before the Capitol riots, January 6th. David Spunt joins us live from D.C. with the latest. David.
Well, Brian, this is a big one. This is almost 5 years in the making. You remember this happened on January 5th, 2021, the night before the Capitol was under attack on January 6, 2021. A person who was completely covered in clothes, in a sweatshirt, a hoodie, mask, gloves, you name it, placed pipe bombs outside both the DNC, Democratic National Committee headquarters, and the RNC, Republican National Committee headquarters. We don't know the suspect's name or anything else about the person at this time. We're told that will likely change as the day moves on, but we can say this was a male that was living in the Northern Virginia area outside of Washington, D.C., and this arrest was made by the FBI and other federal authorities here within the last hour or 90 minutes or so. Just this past October, the FBI put out enhanced video of this masked suspect planting these pipe bombs on this bench outside the RNC and then the DNC. Now, this was, again, the night before the Capitol attack. Now, according to authorities, the suspect, they believe, was 5'7", using some technology where they could measure based on the video. The person wore a hooded sweatshirt, glasses, and gloves. We'll see if that rings true once we get an identity. Agents say that these bombs, Brian, were placed between 7:30 and 8:30 at night. It's important to note the bombs did not detonate, but they were viable and discovered the next day. Over the past almost 5 years, agents visited 1,200 homes, businesses, conducted more than 1,000 interviews, reviewed approximately 39,000 video files, going through 600 tips or so. And there was a reward, everyone, for $500,000 leading to this arrest. Of course, that'll be a question we're expecting to hear from authorities later today involved in this investigation to see if someone did indeed tip off authorities and may be eligible for that $500,000 reward. So a lot of questions. We want to know the name. We want to know much more about this. But this is something that's been plaguing Washington, D.C. and many across the country for almost 5 years now, guys.
I'm looking at FBI.gov, and just one other fact about this individual. He was wearing Nike Air Max Speed Turf shoes. They're black and gray with yellow Nike logos. There are fewer than 25,000 pairs of these shoes that were sold over a 3-year period. So it's these little details that can make the breakthrough in a case. Unclear if that was the detail, but those are the kinds of things these investigators were looking at.
That's exactly right. And the FBI did put some video. It was a computer image of a 360-degree view of those Nikes on their website. And we've done countless stories over the last almost 5 years showing those. And that, yes, that was a rare shoe. But it was difficult for authorities, and we're obviously going to learn a lot more. And I think there was some frustration. This is something that spanned the FBI under Christopher Wray, now Kash Patel. When Director Patel and Deputy Director Dan Bongino came on board earlier this year, they talked about this case openly and said that they wanted to find out who this person was. Bongino, in fact, said when he was a private citizen on his podcast before he came into the FBI, he believed that it was an inside job. We want to see who this person is. We want to know what the connections are. We just know this was a male that was living in Northern Virginia, taken into custody in the last hour or so, and we're going to be getting some of those updates from authorities a little bit later today, and we suspect we'll hear from Attorney General Pam Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel, maybe the Deputy FBI Director Bongino, and others. Kaylee.
So, David, Brian and I had a source a few months back that told us that they were closing this investigation. Shortly after that, they released the imaging. There's really not much in the imaging that they released. Do you have any idea from your sources what turned this investigation to an arrest?
We want to know the answer to that. We don't know specifically, but you're right. We've heard the same thing with our sources, Lawrence, that they have been slowly closing in over time on somebody. The question is, could it have been the $500,000 reward money? We know that via sources that this person had been watched for several days, which is typical from, the FBI or other agents, marshals, to watch someone before they go in and make an arrest. and they made their arrest. And it's so important that these members of law enforcement can do what they need to do, and these arrests don't get botched at all in any way. So this was very close hold, as we call it here in Washington, before this happened today. But now this person is in custody. But we'll find out more about the circumstances.
Do we know when the presser is?
We don't have an exact time yet. We're told we're likely going to hear this afternoon from these principals.
Wow.
Very big news.
Yeah. Thanks so much, David,
Thanks,
for
David.
hopping on.
People have
Thank
been
you,
asking
guys.
questions about this for a long time, and we're told they were close. The Trump administration comes in, it takes 10 months, and they find the guy.
Well, it was also rumored to be a conspiracy as well. You know, there's been so much stuff online about inside job, who was a part of this. Hopefully, we're going to get some closure now that we got somebody in custody.
Yeah, and little by little, we talk about January 6th again. It always brings us back to that time. There's still some questions that had to be answered.
What difference at this point does it make?
Join the movement. Feel the vibe. TrumpRap.com, where truth and rhythm collide.